Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into round number 6 here of Pole Position Racing Season 10 Monaco Grand Prix, the crown jewel of the league. And as we get going here, be sure to watch a lot of different things. We've got a lot of different drivers out, one of them particularly being Mr. 7th place here at the moment in qualifying, Mr. Syntax. 7.5 minutes left to go, and Syntax is back to show off his skills. Syntax is a driver that has a lot of premise, a lot of prowess, and is someone who knows this Monaco Grand Prix very well. Of course, if you remember all the way back to Season 3, Syntax, of course, running that wet weather victorious little strategy, having zero issues and being able to run away very, very well with that win. Delajne here up in the mix and going. Gaviron currently in pole. The McLaren boys are dueling it out for the lead and for that pole position. Of course, track position, all important here in Monaco because typically passing is extremely hard. Mateusz in 4th place at the moment, who's out on a lap, and Mateusz is looking to extend his championship lead here with Mateusz in 1st, Delajne in 2nd, John Meister in 3rd, Graxit in 4th, and Gaviron in 5th place in the Drivers' Championship. As far as Constructors' Championships, it's Red Bull and then McLaren with Mercedes in P3. Graxit, of course, is our defending champion here, and at the moment, Graxit hasn't seemed to be showing as much pace as I am used to Graxit showing through and around. So Graxit leaving a lot to be desired on the table with a lot more to bring as things go. As we're sitting here, Syntax in 7th place going around. He needs to find some time here. We'll see how he does as he heads through the tunnel down into the swimming pool chicane. And he seems to be fairly comfortable. You can see McLaren staying well out of his way. I believe that was Delajne just staying way out of the way. Does not want to cause any issues. And let's ride on board here with Syntax for just a moment through the swimming pool section. You can see he hits that sausage curb very, very hard, is not afraid to tear up the car, goes through a little bit of a snap there through the final corner, and as he hits the main straight, it is going to be flat out through the line, and he comes across at a 1:10.0. So still only good enough for 8th place, but a very consistent time. The 109s are really standing out. We've got a very, very close competitive field today here. Just a couple of seconds separating everyone in from 1st place all the way down to P18 with Wasserschwein, who is 2.5 off the pace. And honestly, I don't think that's a representative time. I think that sometimes it is just a case that Monaco is not everyone's track. We see here Wasserschwein is on an out lap here, and I think he's going to have a bit more time to put in. Delajne on a push lap here, coming through the tunnel. You can see, though, he's going to have a bit of traffic to contend with possibly as we go down through this final sector. How does he handle that? A little bit of a clip to the wall there, and you can see that that is just going to compromise that lap for him. I believe he is going to need to back out of it, but he's going to keep it in, keep it going. We're right on board with him a little bit more here as he heads through the swimming pool, and you can see just very, very close. A little bit of the curb on the inside, but try to avoid the wall on the outside. You don't want to Charles Leclerc, and straight into the pitch goes Delajne. So that is going to be him calling that over. Baron, you can see with a bit of a slide here. And yes, we run the Monaco Grand Prix at night here in Pole Position Racing. That is just traditional for us, and it will always be such. Barthez coming through here, 3rd sector. He seems fairly comfortable here and cuts the chicane just a little too much. So Barthez there losing out, but not as bad as his teammate Debe, who is down in P19 and will start from last place. Did not get a time on the board. DNF'd out of the first half of qualifying before it could even get going. 3 minutes, 45 seconds left to go here. And at this point for the drivers, they need to be putting in their final laps. They need to get comfortable because Monaco gets busy very quick. John Meister, purple middle sector. So John Meister could be a driver to contend with. He's got a little bit of a tap on the wall there, though. No front wing damage that I can see, but as we go through the final sectors, he comes around, and he's going to be nice and relaxed to the line. What time can John Meister put in? He is going to crack the 109 and go up into 5th place there in the Alfa Romeo, which is now known as the Kick Sauber. And now that testing is through, we can kind of talk about that a little bit, and we will as the race goes on. Gaviron still sitting here up in P1. He's up a millisecond as it stands, and you can see just how tight track limits is there on the chicane. Out of the tunnel, you got to be very, very close. And now we run through the swimming pool section. Gavaron coming through. He's a little bit down on time in the middle sector, but he is still trying to put time through. Gavaron trying to improve from that 3.15. He knows Jalajne could bring some competition to him. Baran is out. Gavaron into the 109.2s. 109.263, very, very strong time. He's up just a tenth of a second there on his teammate Jalajne, and Jalajne, I imagine, will respond. Jalajne is coming out of the pits at the moment. John Meister will be in. Mateusz, who is our current points leader here and currently in the running for the championship, is going to be running and trying to stand things up, get things going. You can see he gets well out of the way of, I believe that is Kashti, who is out and about there. It might have been Buchik. Buchik now into the pits, and it looks like Mateusz doing 2 out laps and then is going to go for it here. 1:51 left to go. This will be the final lap as we run through. What's right on board with the Red Bull driver here. He is going to be through turn 1, no issues. And now as we go up the hill here into Saint-Deveau, and you can see, or into the casino section, you can see that he is nice. It's a bump on the wall. He snaps on the bump, and that brings him around. That is his qualifying session is over for Mateusz. 109.851 will be the best he gets. As you can see, that front wing dented. He's lucky that the car did not go around and he did not DNF out. But Mateusz will not get to approve from P6 at the moment, but he is still ahead of Graxent, who is in 8th place and is the defending champion. Of course, so Graxent's going to be gunning for it. I would imagine that we're going to see some competition go through. Gavaron retiring out of the session. Jalajne on an out lap, getting ready to start his push lap. And we'll see what the McLaren driver can do to answer his teammate, who is currently up in P1. Gavaron will not be setting another lap in this session, but you can see that Jalajne with a little bit of wheel spin there out of the final corner. And running into turn 1, you can see the car not as compliant for him as he would want it to be, having to put in a bit of counter steer there to try to hold on to it. And now as we run up the hill here into the casino section, do what you can, watch the wall, mind the wall, and he doesn't mind the wall. So trying to extract that little bit extra time, and he's not able to, and that is his session out. He pulls over into the stop, and that is game over. Syntex, though, how can Syntex respond as he runs down through the hairpin, down into the tunnel? Can Syntex find anything underneath him to give a little bit more? Watch him as he gets on the throttle. He gets going here. It is going to be full speed through the tunnel, dump the battery, give it everything you can here, and then hard braking down the hill here into the chicane. Watch the wall on the inside, mind track limits on the outside. Watch the wall on the inside. This track comes at you very, very quick. You've got to be careful. Checkered flag is flying, so John Meister locked into 4th. Kashti 7th, Maddie 10th, Velix 14th, and Wasserschwein locked in on P18. Wasserschwein did get into the 112s, but not by much is he off that P17 place. Checkered flag's out as we ride through. Where does Syntex come across the line here? Is it in the 109? 109.965. He brings it up into P11, but is not able to improve, so he is through. In Jalajne, you can see wing off, so your top 9 possibly, depending on how Myros is doing. I don't see a front wing on that pass of Myros, though. So I think, yeah, no front wing for Myros, so Myros will not improve. Straight through the chicane there. And straight into the wall. Don't know that that's how they want you to run this final lap, but Haas don't really mind. They don't care if they get the car back in one piece or 10. So looks like our grid will be locked in as soon as Myros gets off the track. And that, I wonder if you know how they do in Tokyo. I don't think in Monaco they like to drift the car here, Myros, but we'll give them some credit here. The Aston Martin safety car, nice and relaxed in park, and now we just wait on the final times to come through and the final lock-ins to hit their place. But it does look like it is Gavaron, Jalajne, Baran, John Meister, Tazo, Mateusz, Kashti, and Graxent. And Myros and Maddie round out your top 10. From there, it is Syntex to Barthez to Buchik to Kushor, Maverick, Velix, Frantic, Wasserschwein, and Debe, who did not get to qualify or put in a time. Everybody stick with us here for just a little bit. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be time for the Monaco Grand Prix. All right, and as we get going back here, we're just waiting on some players to join, and then we will get ready to go. Everybody needs to get their setups logged in. We'll have a good formation lap, and then it will be race time here in the Monaco Grand Prix. At this point, it is just waiting on all of the players to get, all of the drivers to get everything set up. They need to get their setups loaded. They need to get nice and ready to go and get comfortable and be ready for what is going to be a challenging Grand Prix. What's the keys to the Monaco Grand Prix? Well, quite simply, it is avoid the barriers, avoid the walls, push the limits, but don't go over them, which is much easier said than done. Formation laps out, and I do expect this 39 laps to go fairly quick here, so stick with us for a little bit, get some popcorn, grab something to drink, and be ready to go. And of course, if you are watching on Twitch, be sure to give us a follow and stick around for everything Pole Position Racing has to offer. If you're watching on YouTube after the fact, be sure to like, follow, subscribe, and do all of those fun things. That way you never miss any sort of action here at Pole Position Racing. As far as tire strategy goes, let's get that pulled up. It's medium tires, it's hard tires. Those are the primary things that all of these drivers are going to be looking at, and I would anticipate mediums and hards are going to be the tires that we will see for the majority of this race. I don't expect any soft tires to make their appearance today, unless there is a late race caution or somebody gets a little antsy near the end and goes through. Now, the drivers to watch for, it is going to be Graxit here in 8th place. Of course, the McLarens are very, very nice and comfortable and should be giving us some good action. So I would keep your eyes on them. I would keep your eyes on Mateusz. Mateusz, the current points leader, who should be in a good position. And then, of course, keep your eye on Graxit, the defending champion, and Mr. Monaco himself, Syntex, who I anticipate is going to have a very, very strong race. And if I commentator curse that, I'm sure he'll yell at me after the fact. So keep your eyes on those drivers accordingly. Look at all the yachts, all the boats out there. They came for a race, and they are going to get a race here as we head through the swimming pool chicanes and get ready here for the final setup. Gavron is getting his position on the grid, but look at that. Debe back in P19 is just now starting into the swimming pool section. So it's going to be a long wait for Gavron and Jalajne here at the front of the grid. as they take their place. We're waiting on that last car to come around of Debe. Debe, who needs to make a massive recovery drive here in the Ferrari. I don't think we're anticipating rain. And there's your strategy. Hard to medium or medium, medium, soft. And I don't think any of the drivers are going to be going for a 2-stop. I would think a 1-stop is going to be the way to go. So now Debe gets in position on the grid. You can see he's pointing. The green flag's waving. It's going to be set up here. Hang out for just a moment. And it's going to be 5 red lights. And we are underway here for the Monaco Grand Prix. And it's going to be a good getaway here from our race leaders of Gavron and Jalajne. John Meister wants to have a dive up the inside. Tazlo's on the outside. They're 2x2 coming up the hill. And as we go, we'll see how things can settle out early on here as they come up into the casino section. And it looks like at the moment it is Gavron, Jalajne, John Meister, Tazo, Baran, Mateusz trying to make a move on Baran. Baran going very defensive up the inside. And there's a big lockup from Tazo. And it causes Mateusz to hit the back a little bit. And there we go. We're side by side into the hairpin between Baran and Tazo side by side through. Baran making his way up. Not moving up, actually. Sorry. Tazo into 4th place. Baran into 5th place. And Mateusz into 6th. Kashi 7th. Graxon 8th. Myros 9th. I think we're pretty much where we started with the drivers. Baran and Mateusz swapping positions. Uchik and Barthez swapping positions back in the back. You can see that is the Alpine of Wasserschwein getting very, very swirly in the background. There's a bit of contact there, and that is, as soon as I said Wasserschwein's name, it was Wasserschwein who came into contact there. I believe that was with Kushor, or it was with Velix coming into contact, and that is going to cost them big time. And we should start to see some pit stops go through pretty quick. Tazo's already in the pits. I believe Tazo getting front wing damage here. We'll see what the strategy is from Tazo. But 1 lap already down here in the Monaco Grand Prix. And yes, it was indeed a front wing change going for Tazo. He's onto hard tires. Maverick's in, Wasserschwein's in. Oh no, Syntax! Syntax DNFs into Saint Deveau. Oh, Monaco. You hurt me so. You hurt me so much. Check it back in the front of the field here. Gavron, Jalajne, John Meister, and Baran all running their way down in the hairpin. You can see just how close the drivers are pushing it through. And now we're caution sector 3. That is going to be... I don't know what that's actually for. I think that is for Wasserschwein DNFing out. Wasserschwein is retired out of this section. So it is 17 drivers out of the 19 that started here on lap 2 of 39. And now as Baran comes around, and we're going to be starting just the long haul of the Monaco Grand Prix. Baran with the fastest lap here and is going to try to hold on here as much as he can. Mateusz is right in the mix, half a second behind. Graxon 4/10 of a second behind. Myros through. And you're going to see a lot of these gaps are very close, within half a second to a second of each other. But the only DRS zone is the main straight, and everything else is just all about following and relaxing. And Syntax says, it's a pleasure as always. And, oh man, Syntax, this is painful. It's very, very painful to see. But you do what you can. And right now, it is going to be... just going to be a procession at this point. It's going to be drivers following each other through and everybody trying to stay nice and relaxed. The McLarens have a dominating lead up front. Jalajne is in P2, John Meister's in 3rd, Baran's in 4th, Mateusz 5th, Kashi 6th, and Graxon in 7th. So they are going to try to just hang on a little bit longer and just relax. Through the tunnel we go again here, and again, it's just drivers trying to stay nice and relaxed and keep their races going. They are just sort of chilling out. Nobody wants to run the risk too early of having any big moments, so they're going to all just kind of settle in. Everyone's either where they're at or they've moved up spots with Syntax and Bosterschwein being out. I don't see anyone who's really lost a lot of places other than Tazo with losing that front wing on lap 1, and Kushor, who is down a couple places, also had to stop. Maverick had to stop as well. Kushor, interestingly enough, is on the soft tires. Now, Baran out of the session. It looks like he's had a moment into... oh, yeah, there is his car. He's had that moment coming through, and it is going to be our first safety car deployed here in the race. So, safety car deployed at the moment. And now everyone will stay nice and relaxed and slow. We'll see if anyone opts for a pit stop cycle. I don't know if anyone will. But as drivers come around, let's see if the McLarens go in. The McLarens are going to double stack, which is an interesting decision here from them. And now, as we pit stop cycle, everybody hang out for just a moment. We'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring in Mr. Monaco himself, who made a one-lap appearance here at the track that gave him his crown jewel. Syntax, welcome back in the commentary booth, my friend. How are you?
Thank you very much, Bradley. It's so nice to be here once again with you. And as you mentioned, yes, Mr. One Lap on Monaco. That was truly unfortunately, but it is what it is. Some Ferrari just slaps me on my back and finish my race. That was very nice to come back and just feel the energy on the whole qualifications. My hands and feet was really shaking, but that kind of stress is like building you up, you know, and that was really, really nice to come back and feel that once again. So, Bradley, today we have a Monaco. everyone's fan favorite race, of course, with already 3 DNFs. How so far is going?
3 DNFs in 7 laps. I think that's your answer. Monaco is a track of survival, as you know, and sometimes it's not as much about being the fastest as just qualifying well. And I
Exactly.
or pit strategy, because it seems like pit strategy is going to play a part. You've got the front six who didn't pit, and then have their own pit throughs. Jalajne pit, Maddie stayed out, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's Monaco. It goes one of two ways. It's either really boring or really action packed.
Exactly. Because of the new season's Drive of Survive just came out, we have our own version of the Drive to Survive, and that's what you mentioned and what you said that about survivability on the track is like the most important thing, to be honest, because if you can drive clean without any hits on the wall, without extra pit stops and so on, it's basically giving you a really good result at the end of the race. I know something about that.
There's a reason we call you Mr. Monaco. We'll leave it at that.
It happens once.
Eh,
What happened in Monaco stays in Monaco, you know?
yeah, I'll give you that one.
So far, I can see that we have a really strong potential for standing on the podium today, because John presenting a really good form. He's in a really good shape. Mateusz Tofliński, so far as I can see, this driver have a amazing talent, and he is standing on the podium almost every race. So he's definitely fast and he know how to drive. Behind him we have Kashti. Kashti sometimes doing Kashti's things. So you know our motto: expect unexpected. So this is exactly the same with Kashti. Really strong accent, previous champion. Probably he will be trying to save his championship in this season. But as far as I can see, it might be more difficult than usually.
Yeah, we're back racing now, and Graxon got away very well. John Meister and Mateusz got away fairly well, so no crazy things into turn one this time that I can see. But yeah, Mateusz currently the points leader by a good set, and it's kind of caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. I thought Graxon would have more of a challenge in the championship. But as it stands, Mateusz with a fairly good lead up in the championship standings. John Meister in the lead of the race at the moment, but keeps locking up his tires. It seems like everybody's locking up their tires really bad, and I don't know if that's just because it's nighttime Monaco or what it is.
No, it's because a lot of drivers just changed his settings from the ABS turn on to turn off. So basically, a lot of drivers, that's why they are blocking the wheels, because probably of that. But also the second thing, that braking without the ABS on Monaco is, you can trust me, but it's really hard. And as you can see on the picture, a lot of drivers will be blocking the wheels on almost every single corner.
Yeah, it's not going to be good for tire deg. It might actually push some drivers into a two-stop, and it also explains why a lot of the drivers started on hard tires if it's going to be a case of needing to conserve your tires through. So we'll see how things go. Velix is already back into the pits here, 1 lap after safety car, and I'm going to imagine that is a front wing change.
It's really possible. And what about like the racing in the night in the Monaco? This is like very special track for me, and I have a really good memories with that. That race that you mentioned on the full rain with the wets. That was something that I would not probably do that again. So this will be definitely one of my moments, I would say. But a lot of spending time on this track with JJ, many memories. So this track is, I would say it's really connected with our league, even that drivers are not in so much love with this track. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. Of course, there were many times where, I would hot lap Monaco with you guys, and then, of course, it's where I got my start with this league back in Season 3, all that time ago. So, yeah, this track, the nighttime Monaco, is very special to pole position racing, so it's definitely one to keep up with and keep your eyes on, because this is typically this is that one-off race, and it's the same way in real life F1. You know, Monaco is such a unique experience for any F1 fan, and
Mati and Żelazny, sorry for disturbing, but they are really close.
it's a big battle here with the Ferraris too. Debe and Barthez getting in the mix as well. You see the Ferraris, the Haas, the Red Bull, and the McLaren. Jalajne back. I mean, that's a close battle that's just kind of hanging out too, but Jalajne keeps locking up the tires.
And a really strong battle between Kashti and Gragson almost on every track. And I saw the situation from the Spain last week. That was truly a Spain pain moment for them. But I hope we wouldn't see anything like this. Definitely both of the drivers would have something to say to each other. But I hope it will be on the paddock, not in the track.
Yeah, I agree with that. I went back and watched it several times. I had some conversations, and it was definitely a moment. I don't know how to feel about it, but hopefully there's no sort of, nothing comes out on the track with it. But we know these two are going to be rivals all the way through the season, so we'll keep our eyes on this battle as it goes.
And as far as I can see, Mateusz with John Meister are also really close to each other. Maybe this is just a matter of moment that we will see Mateusz trying to attack John Meister right now under the bridge section. Maybe Mateusz will be trying to attack on the next lap because DRS, of course, is enabled. And look how close John Meister were going next to that wall. We can see Sparks and Bucek retired from the session. We have a yellow flag, but I'm only guessing that it was retiring in the pit lane.
Yeah, it looks like he was in the pit lane, so no issues there. Mateusz showing a lot of good pace here, keeping things going, and good battles in the back between Tazo and Debe as well. That's the battle for P7. Tazo getting around there, and I think I saw a little bit of carbon fiber go flying. Debe's dropping down the order, so yes, Debe into the wall, completely losing his front wing, and Debe having a classic Monaco experience here. He DNF'd out of qualifying, didn't even get a lap time in, and he was running up, and now Debe is going to have to go into the pits and change his front wing, go through all of that fun stuff that Monaco is known for. And yeah, this is one of those tracks that if you're not good or comfortable at it, it's very, very painful.
Exactly. Slowly but Żelazny is getting closer to Gragson, so that fight between Żelazny, Gragson and Kashti might be even more interesting than it is right now. Mateusz is still holding almost 3/10 of a second behind John Meister, so the battle continues for the P1. Of course, we are on the 13th lap currently, so still a long road in front of us, but as always, situation on the track getting a little bit calmer. Myros is really close behind the Maverick, but it's not enough to attack before second sector on the chicane.
John Meister had a run, and out of the final corner, he lost the back end, so he lost a bit of that gap he had. Graxon's still trying to catch up. I mean, there's plenty of drivers that are very, very close in the field, but the thing with Monaco, it's extremely hard to get a pass done. And who was the Williams that was just sitting in the middle of Sector 1? Is that
Bucek.
That's his AI just sitting?
It might be, but I'm not sure. I cannot see on the field right now and on the track also, so it's pretty difficult to say.
That is just his AI. It just stopped at the
Yeah.
Okay, well, AI doing AI things, but it's fine, I think.
Codis, we love you as always.
Absolutely. Speaking of Codis and we love them, what do you think the track limit situation is going to come into play? How many track limits penalties do we think are going to get handed out before the end of this race?
It's a little bit easier to stay on the track without cutting the corners, but as we can see, we already have two drivers with these penalties. Nevertheless, I think that if we will be coming more to the end of the race, we will be definitely see more penalties. But it depends of the drivers. I'm glad that we can see that since race to race we don't have so many time penalties, and drivers are more used to with cleaner racing. But still, it's all about Graxen didn't break enough, and there's Zelazny, amazing how he done that, and he found the space, and he's on that battle that I said 3 laps ago.
Yeah, Graxent just not. I don't know if he just wasn't sure where he was at or what happened there. He was trying to get on the brakes, just wasn't enough. Goes wide, and Gelajne just scoops right up P4. But that's how quickly things can change in Monaco. It's very, very hard to get the pass done on track. But if the car in front of you makes a mistake, you've got to be able to take advantage of that opportunity. Maddie and Myros battling through the tunnel here, and Myros up in his 7th here. Maddie's in 8th, and you can see Maddie is putting some amazing pace down and trying to chase down Myros as much as he can here. He's got Frantic, your teammate, behind for company, who is trying to get a run as well. But even down the main straight, look at this. Gelajne around the outside of Kashki here. Up into P3 now goes Gelajne with the help of DRS. So Gelajne, a driver with a lot of pace, but the front two are 7.5 seconds ahead, Syntax.
Zelazny is just a monster. I truly admire his driving style and how aggressive and calm in the same time he can be. And it shows all of his skills out of his pocket, and I'm really jealous about that, being honest. But Zelazny is just providing us on every race that he is racing amazing moments on the track, and we have already 2 of them on the Monaco. Oh, and Mateusz with 3-second time penalty that might be crucial for the end of the race.
Absolutely. Corner cutting through the swimming pool chicanes is going to cost him big time. And we've watched these drivers over and over just be on the edge of track limits through the swimming pool. And it looks like Mateusz, one of the first ones along with Myros and Gavron, to kind of catch that track limits, the attention of the stewards, and kind of get the slap on the hand and say, hey, stop cutting that corner. We'll see. We're only 17 laps in. We're nearing halfway. So we'll see exactly how many more drivers catch the wrath of the FIA stewards for track limits as we go. And it's kind of amazing to me that for Monaco being such a small track, there's only like 2 places that you can get track limits, and sometimes you just happen to find it because they're the hardest corners of the track.
Exactly. I didn't saw the situation, what's happened exactly with Gavron, but he showed a really amazing pace. He done on the qualifications 1 minute 9.2. So this is the time that I managed after 3 hours of grinding on time trial. So Gavron also have a pace, but something's definitely happened, and just see how much he is losing. Of course, because Kushor was on the pit lane, he just jumped to P13 right now, but still losing almost 4 seconds behind Debe. This might be really difficult to catch, and we don't see that much big time gaps between the drivers. The biggest one have right now Myros behind Graxent, almost 12 seconds. But we didn't saw anyone overlapped yet, right?
No, I don't think anyone's went a lap down. I don't think it's that far off at the moment as things stand. But yeah, because it looks like going down into the hairpin right now is Velix and Jahrmeister Mateusz are approaching the hairpin. So I don't think that it's unrealistic to think that somebody's going to get lapped soon. I don't know how far away that is, though.
No. Velix is under the bridge right now, and John and Mateusz are trying to catch him, so Velix will be probably the first driver on the grid being overlapped.
Yeah, but it also could be pit stops could help him a little bit, because John Master and Mateusz have 17 lap old tires. They need to pit soon.
Definitely, but I need to admit that your Polish is a little bit better, because how you saying Gavron is just amazed me, and big congrats on that, Brett.
Thank you. It's amazing what'll happen after 7 seasons with the lead.
Finally a time to do that.
Yeah, I had to learn eventually, so I thought I'd go ahead and pick it up and learn. So, but as we watch here, Syntax, I have to ask, what do we think this is going to be John Meister and Mateusz just side by side and back and forth to the end? Do we think Mateusz will be able to get a pass done? Because the thing is, John Meister has to go onto the hard tires, and Mateusz will have to go onto the medium tires here whenever they decide to pit, and that will be that'll mix things up a bit. And we're starting to see drivers into the pits now. Graxon's in, Matty is in. Graxon's on medium tires to the end. So, how much does pit strategy play in Monaco?
Huge. You just said that on the beginning when I joined to you. But here, in the technical section, we will say that Mateusz is in a slightly better position because of the hard compound, right? But Taz was actually testing how much tire degradation on this track, especially, and cars are able to achieve and this is something unusual. Mateusz just go to the pit lane right now. So this is like our commentator curse. Always when we are talking about someone, that person need to change something, and we cannot like hold the topic any longer.
I think Mateusz is going to go for the undercut to try to get past John Meister. He knows he can't get the pass done on track just because of the nature of Monaco. I think he's going to try to just set some fast laps really quick here and get the pass done quickly. He's going to come out just ahead of Myros, which is very, very fortunate for him. But we'll see how things go as this race develops.
Yeah, if I will be able to drive a little bit longer, my strategy was going to medium, hard to medium. And I was trying to hold for 12 laps mediums, around 15 hards, and then come back to the mediums and drive to until the end. And being honest, 3 times in a pit lane will be really doable. I'm not sure about one pit stop, because it really needs some skills from you and saving the tires. But maybe Żelazny will be able to do that. I'm really curious about that.
What's the weather situation like here? I know we've seen rain in Monaco before. Was any rain predicted when you were getting ready for the race?
Not at all.
Awesome. I like a dry Monaco. It doesn't produce as much chaos, but, you know, sometimes a dry Monaco can be nice here. Lap 21 of 39, the race is moving fairly quick. Graxon's up into 6th place now on those medium tires, and Mateusz is 15, 16 seconds back from John Meister, so he is closing that gap as it stands.
Yeah, but with the Monaco, there's a thing. If you'll catch your own rhythm, you are driving like on the time trial, because as you can see right now, almost none of the drivers are next to each other, and they are just driving in their own race. So basically, what is the closest battle? Gavron maybe, but he's a little bit over 1 second, and Matej, which is on the 11th place and trying to catch right now Gavron. Matej have a definitely advantage because of the tires right now. Fresh pair of mediums, and we can clearly see how much he is chasing down the Gavron. But this is what I said. Every single driver right now is racing with himself.
Yeah, it's kind of the unfortunate thing with Monaco that it does turn into a game of sort of comfort and pace. It's how comfortable can you stay for how long to keep pushing times, and everyone has that different line, and at the end of the day, it's going to be who can do it. Graxon with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix here, but 29 seconds back from our race leader, John Meister, so I don't know what that's going to do for him. Currently setting in fastest laps, lap 22 of 39, but Graxon's going to try at least, and I have to give him an A+ for effort to at least be pushing this hard.
Yeah, definitely. Myros with 13 old lap mediums. I'm just guessing that probably he will be going to the pit lane. Maybe now, maybe on the next lap. But this is like the safe time to go to changing the tires from the pits, from the mediums. And John Meister is just now doing that thing after 21 old laps. So maybe Myros will go for the one pit strategy. No, because he was already there. So two pit stop strategy, but holding on the 4th place, really good situation for him right now.
Yeah, he's not in a bad position at all. Mateusz does overcut John Meister by about 10 seconds. Is that what I'm seeing right? About the
Almost,
gap.
yeah.
So Mateusz is in a very, very good position. If he can nurse these medium tires to the end, he is in a good position to try to win this thing, because Jalajne, of course, does still have to pit here.
Yeah, but don't forget that Želazny know how to be fast. And as far as I can see, Mateusz is already chasing down the Želazny. We cannot forget that he already have a 3-second time penalty. But look how fast it's changing on the interval.
He's putting those medium tires to work. I mean, he is trying very, very hard to catch up to Jalajne, but of course, it's one thing to catch and it's another to pass here at Monaco entirely. So we'll see what he does and how close he can catch to Jalajne and see if it gets past him. Jalajne has done one pit stop already, so it's not out of the realm of possibilities. If Jalajne wanted to nurse those tires to the end, he could.
Exactly, and the situation with Mati and Debe didn't change a lot. Mati is still trying to chase down Debe. They are still holding next to each other. With these battles, is more like who will firstly hit the wall and maybe will have a little bit more destroyed the front wing. That will be definitely really hard to drive on this track, because in the previous game, in the F1 23, we have a situation that it was possible. Am I saying it correctly? 23 or 24? I lost my
F1 22.
22. Yeah, it's not like the FIFA. I'm sorry. It was like if you have yellow front wing, it was still able to drive on the Monaco. But here, on my example, as you can see, it might be a little bit more problematic. And right now, Kashti is overtaking Myros because of the pit lane, and Želazny also went to the pit lane with a fresh pair of mediums. Really interesting. Maybe hard mediums to softs. It's doable.
Could be. I'm curious to see what strategy drivers come with, because that's the one thing with Monaco is if you can think of a unique strategy that works, you can set yourself apart, but it's going to be a big challenge for anyone at the moment to catch up to Mateusz, because he's 10.7 seconds ahead of John Meister. There's a huge gap there for him to find, and John Meister doesn't seem to be closing that gap nearly fast enough. There's 14 laps to go if my wonderful American math can help me out real quick. So 14 laps to go. He's got almost 11 seconds now. He's losing pace to Mateusz. So Mateusz is really, really moving it along up at the front of the field to try to get some pace and make a difference here.
Is that Max Verstappen in pole position racing league?
It seems
Looks like
it.
But it also reminds me of JJ and Nota on the previous races in Monaco. Quite similar situation with a huge time gap. But hey, don't forget that one corner might change everything really, really fast.
That is very true. It doesn't take a lot. Mateusz pushing as hard as he is, one small mistake could cost him the race here. He could DNF out. He could get another track limits warning. You never know. And that's the thing. With 13 laps to go here, anything can happen. So expect the unexpected as we go through. But
just check Tazo and Debe because they are really close to each other.
I was gonna say, other than this battle with Debe and Tazo and Maddie getting in the mix, there's not a lot going on track right now. Everybody's really spread out and everybody's just kind of running through, and you know, it's a nice relaxed Monaco Grand Prix at the moment.
Yeah, beautiful Sunday. How's your weather?
Yeah, weather's not too bad here. It's a little cold, but, you know.
Oh. Ay, not enough space for Tazo, but Debe just done that perfectly with the defense, but maybe now not. Tazo is trying to find. He's searching and making on a really high pressure right now, Debe, and I'm feeling it that there will happen something right now, and Debe is behind Tazo.
Oh, if the cars didn't ghost through, I'm pretty sure Debe and Tazo would have came right together then, but Debe ghosted out before Tazo could hit him, so thankfully Tazo moves up with no issues, but Tazo passed him through a ghost, and Myros is now out. It looks like through the casino section, and that's a VSC.
In exact same spot as Baran did, I guess. Yeah, exactly in the same spot.
Thankfully, it's just a VSC and not a full safety car, so this should be cleaned up fairly quick. And we'll get back to racing here with 12 laps to go. And this battle right here between Frantic, Tazo, and Debe is really, really heating up. But Debe needs to try to close that gap a little bit to Tazo and Frantic before the VSC ends. He was giving too much space there, I think.
Definitely. But this situation might be not that good for Mateusz, but as I can see, he is even earning time with the interval between him and John Meister under the safety car conditions. So this is really interesting.
How is he gaining so much time?
I have no idea. He might be like on a really, really close delta. So he's playing with fire. But hey, we are back racing.
We're back racing, and it looks like it paid off for him. So he now has a 14-second gap. He's gap now down to 12 and a half. It could have just been a weird timing error, but I'm not sure there. Gap 12.1. I mean, he's got plenty of space behind him, though. He can kind of relax a little bit, and Maddie's into the pits onto a fresh set of softs. So Maddie bowing out of this battle for P6 at the moment. He's going to try something a little bit different and run softs to the end.
If Franek will be able to drive until the end of this race on this hard compound, which might be, being honest, might be a really difficult, he will find himself on a great spot. But as we can see, Tazo, he is not afraid of anything. He just like goes straight next to him under the bridge, and like that. Sick. P6.
Yeah, Tazo taking advantage of the fresher medium tires against the very, very worn out hard tires that Frantic. I'm sure Frantic is going to nurse those to the end. I can't imagine he's going to pit again and give up that much track position. But we'll see what happens, and the drivers love to prove me wrong. So, as you know, Syntax, we won't know until the final lap. And you can see it looks like he's pulling over. He's just giving the position to Debe. I think he knows that with those 23-lap old hard tires, he can't fight as hard as he would want to. Debe on 16-lap old hards, so these drivers are just trying to make it to the end at this point. 10 laps to go here in the Monaco Grand Prix.
We need to say that it was a really nice move from Franek. He didn't have to do that, but it was like very fair play moment on the track, which big applause for Franek. Because this is not the thing that we are usually see on the pole position racing league. Especially that when I was driving that first lap, Gavron with another fastest lap of this race, there was really, really tight next to the hairpin, and drivers didn't let that much space to each other. So they were fighting almost for every centimeter on the track.
Yeah, the drivers... It's very, very back and forth sometimes. The drivers will give a lot of space, a lot of respect sometimes, and then in other instances they go side by side, and it kind of becomes one of those questions of what's worth fighting and what isn't. And I think in that instance, it was a good decision from Frantic to kind of give that position up and just let it go. He knows that he can't fight it, and if he tries to fight it, it's just going to risk everyone else's day and make things more difficult. So kudos to him for giving that position up. And really, he's got 7.5 seconds behind. If he can just keep a bit of pace in, he's got P8 secure at this point with 9 laps to go.
Yeah, exactly. And Żelazny is really really fast right now, chasing John Meister. We can see that John Meister were almost drifting on the Raskas, and that's why Żelazny is less than a 7/10 of a second behind John Meister. So this is the closest situation on the track right now. 8 laps to go. Żelazny is still able to fight for the P2.
Yeah, I don't think John Meister is liking these hard tires as much as he liked the mediums. He just doesn't seem comfortable with them, and I don't think it was a good decision for him to switch tires onto mediums or onto hards. I bet he's wishing he had started on the hards and went to the mediums right now, because Żelazny is putting those medium tires to work and trying to catch him. I think this lap, if he can stay close through the swimming pool section coming into Rascats, we may be able to get a good pass down the main straight. We'll see how things go as they run down into the chicane here.
A little bit of snap to the wall, but I hope Żelazny won't have any yellow wing or something like this. I'm still wondering why he have that UWU, because it sounds much better when we say it like this before the name. Maybe this is like the team for which he is driving for. Mati just went to the pit lane. Maybe he will be trying to fight for the fastest lap. But we know that... Oh, and Bart just spun. That's why Maverick just overtaked him. I have no idea what's happened there.
Looks like possibly side by side down the hill, and 2-1 doesn't go if I had to guess, but I don't see any damage on Barthez's car, which he's going to be thankful for. Maybe just some overheated tires, but I don't see any damage on the wing or anything, so hopefully he can just keep going to the end here. Second in here.
Żelazny.
Yeah, Żelazny is still trying to chase down John Meister here.
But we know that overtaking on a Monaco is almost, maybe not impossible, but really hard.
It takes a lot to overtake someone on Monaco. Either they have to make a mistake, or you really, really have to set it up. And
oh my, you have to be so patient for that.
You really do.
Maybe right now.
Patience is not a race car driver's best friend.
Definitely, but much better exit from Żelazny. Maybe it will allow him to overtake right now. Just look how close they are to each other. Żelazny is almost sitting on the back of the car of John Meister's. Of course, he just had to step back a little bit because just trying to avoid the collision. But I'm guessing there will be a huge fight between them on the next 6 laps. Yeah.
I think it should be good. Mateusz picks up another 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, so he now has 6 seconds of penalties, and he needs to keep that in mind. He needs to settle things down for the next 6 laps. He really, really needs to just not do anything too crazy. Which, again, it's one thing for me to say it. It's another thing for a race car driver to actually do that.
Yeah, and whoa, I am not sure that it was a luck, or maybe Żelazny actually touched the wall, but it looks strange.
Yeah, that was a weird moment. I don't know what that was, but it's going to cost him the run down the straight. And now we go in with 5 to go here, and Żelazny losing time back. And of course,
oh no!
Oh my gosh! And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we talk about having patience and dialing things back a little bit. Draxit now with a drive-through for speeding under VSC. And it's the same corner as Myros and Baran coming out of the casino section. He went into the wall in DNF. Mateusz, who had such a dominant run on this race, has now lost this race with 5 to go.
I'm so sorry for him, because the only job that he had right now, it was only just to drive, going straight in front of him, avoiding the eventual warnings and time penalties, and that's all. And he just have like winning this race in his pocket. But right now, this is what I said before: one corner and everything might change really, really fast. Because of that, it allows Kasti to jump on the podium, having on his back Graxen with a fresh pair of softs, but the time gap, it's too big in my opinion. I've seen that Graxen have a really good pace on the Spain. Maybe do you remember that moment from previous season when he done a really amazing job? And now with Gavron, we have a yellow flag, but Gavron just retired in the pit lane, so we won't have any safety cars.
I hope we won't have any safety cars, but we'll see how things go. And the battle with Jalajne and John Meister is now the battle for the race win. Cashy gets on the podium, and now this battle that was for P2 is now the battle for the win. So things heating up with 4 laps to go here. Monaco delivering a exceptional race here through, except for, some of the more boring moments. But we're getting 4 to go here, and this is the battle for the win, separated by half a second. Very close competitive battle here, but I mean, all John Meister needs to do is just keep it nice and relaxed and collected. Not do any heroics, not do anything crazy, and I think he'll be just fine.
Bradley, would you be relaxed in John Meister's place?
No, but that's why I'm not a race car driver.
Imagine walking in his shoes right now. I remember that because, Maverick just hit the wall on the main straight. That's interesting.
So we started with 19 drivers, and we're down to 11 with 3 laps to go.
Typical Monaco. Nothing changed.
Yeah, Monaco, the crown jewel. doing Monaco things. Mateusz putting in Discord chat says, no way I crashed. So even the disbelief from Mateusz crashing out of the lead with 5 laps to go.
Żelazny cannot... I'm so sorry. Please continue.
I was going to say, I don't know how you would react as a driver to crashing 5 to go. I mean, that's painful.
Mm-hmm. And heartbreaking. Żelazny definitely cannot right now letting it go. Why? Because if longer he would wait, his tire degradation will be still higher because he's on the mediums, right? So basically, on a better position right now is John, because Żelazny is like giving everything what he has right now. So he have 2 laps to overtake John. Do you think it will be possible to do that?
I think it's possible because it does seem like Jalajne has more pace.
Maybe now? No.
Yeah, it's just a matter of what can he do to get the pass done? Because the thing is, Monaco is so narrow. If John Meister just puts his car anywhere in the middle of the track, Jalajne doesn't have the space. So Jalajne either needs to get a very good corner exit on John Meister, or John Meister needs to make a mistake. I mean, there's not much in the way that he can do other than just kind of sit back and hope that he can get a little bit of luck involved. I do also want to shout out Debe. Debe's in 5th place now. Started P19 and is currently sitting P5. So very good runs from Debe to be up in the position he's in.
Exactly, but look how much... Oh, and Franek just overtake Graxen, so Graxen maybe he will be trying to chase down the fastest lap of this race. But let's go with the Żelazny, because he's on the DRS section. It's not enough. He's not enough closer to the John Meister, and again sitting on his back. Maybe in the first sector, maybe he will try to go outside. No, John is blocking him a lot, and there was a contact, and that was so fair play from Żelazny, and oh my god.
Jalajne was really thinking about it. There was that bit of contact. As you can see, John Meister is slower than Jalajne, but and Jalajne knew he bumped him into a wall, and Jalajne backed out of it there. So fair play to Jalajne, good call there, and that might have sealed his fate for P2 here with 2 to go.
Of course, he might took that as an advantage and overtake John Meister, but this behave, it was like we don't usually see that on the racetrack, right? So He might get win, but if you want to win, not in the way like this, right? So it reminds me kinda that cartoon Cars when the king has to finish his race and McQueen just take his on his nose and let him win, but exact same spot, exact same situation. So maybe right now, maybe Żelazny will try to find a way to overtake John Meister. Maybe right now, better exit, faster on the throttle. No, not enough. He knows that he won't be able to find the space next to the John Meister. Oh my, Bradley, last lap, really important lap for both of them.
3/4 of a lap left to go here, and as Jalajne sits, he is faster than John Meister. He knows it, but Monaco is such a challenging track. What can he do here? The gap, 0.3 of a second as they go down into the tunnel. Is he going to think about a dive here into the chicane? We're going to go. Does he think about it? He brakes? No, he does not. You can see the harvesting light on for John Meister. John Meister trying to get as much battery as he can to try to just deploy to the end and try to keep Jalajne from getting a run here. We go through the swimming pool section. Everybody's clean. Again, Jalajne a little bit faster than John Meister. And John Meister a little bit of a bump into the wall. We come through Rascas. And as we hit the final straight, Braxton is going to snatch up that fastest lap here. And now, down the run we go. There's not enough time. And as we hit the checkered flag, it is John Meister who taps out Jalajne by 1/10.5 to take the win here at the Monaco Grand Prix.
Big congrats for this battle. I hope you can hear that clap, because another race and these two brilliant drivers give us a really amazing battle. On the P3 finishing Kashti, P8 and P9 are already locked down for Bartes and Matej. On the 4th place will be Tazo, behind him Debe, Graxen on the P6, Franek P7, and on the P10 and P11, both of Aston Martin's Kushor and Felix.
Yeah, Velik's the only driver to not score points here, but good runs from everyone. Debe going from P19 to P5, so a very good move there from him. Graxen recovering to get the fastest lap here in Monaco and snack that extra point away. But John Meister was running, it was a race for P2, and then Mateusz with a small error, and that ends up giving John Meister the win here in proper Monaco fashion.
Exactly. So another Monaco is going as a part of the history of PPR, and it was a really cool battle between the drivers. We could actually expect unexpected because of this fight until the end. It was amazing. So thank you guys for that. You've done a really good job, and of course any other driver that survived in this race and were able to finish this amazing track. It was a pleasure, and of course, Bradley, I couldn't imagine doing a Monaco without you.
Yeah, Syntax, glad to have you back up here. Unfortunate that your race ended on lap 1, but, you know, it's the Monaco curse. It gives, it takes. At least you are not Leclerc. You have a win under your belt at Monaco, as we see the podium celebrations going here. John Meister posting in chat that he had a broken wing as he was defending there for the win, and giving congrats to Jalajne. So those two having a very good race, and I like seeing good fights like that up at the front.
Yeah, definitely. And next week, as far as I know, there's a Baku. So another street circuit and a lot of potential to fight. But from the history of PPR, we know how Baku ends, as always. So I hope we won't see another Monaco-ish thing, and it will be a little bit better than usual.
Yeah, next week is Baku, and next week will be hosted on the JP Broadcasting Network. Again, another week of our partnership with them. So if you are looking for next week's stream, you need to go subscribe to JP Broadcasting on YouTube, as they will be bringing you all of the action for next week in Baku. But, Syntax, any final thoughts before we get out of here for the day?
I don't think that I will come back to racing again. Maybe not now. Maybe I need to practice a little bit more.
I'm sure Syntax could be fine on racing or commentary. You're good at whatever you want to do, but we'll see how things go. And of course, next week on the JP Broadcasting Network, we'll see you there. But on behalf of Syntax, my name is Brad, and we will see you over at JP Broadcasting Network 7 days' time.
Bye.